Reading from, I really don't know the chapter, but I'm up to text 150. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya. Wait. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhakti bada śuni prabhu bhāratīra mukhe. Hari bali garjite lāgilā prema-sukhe. Hearing from the mouth of Keśava Bhāratī that bhakti is greater, the Lord loudly shouted the name of Hari in ecstatic love. Om Jnana-timirandasya gananjana shalakaya chaksur unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Shri Caitanya-bhāgavata Antya-khaṇḍa yena bhutale sayam rupa kadamayam dadati sapadantikam panchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, greetings from New Jersey. I finally figured out what text I'm going to speak on. I'll start on Sunday, but from then on, I'm going to speak on the same text on Sunday, Wednesday, and every Sunday and Wednesday. I'm going to speak on Krishna's Janma Lila leading up to Janmashtami. I remember I did that in Vrindavan like 25 years ago. What is 90, 96, 206, 216? Yeah, like 25, 26 years ago. I remember I did it during Prabhupada's centennial. I was in Vrindavan at that time. And His Holiness Srila Radha Govinda Swami was there. And I remember before the class, I would kind of run up to him because he's such a scholar and get some nice points about the Leela. And I'll also be speaking about that in Kali, in the Kali retreat. But I'll continue with this today. And, we're meeting this, I always described it, this is Caitanya-bhāgavata, but the Caitanya Charitamrita, what the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya is the character of the life force in immortality. What does it look like when people act from the platform of the soul? Which means taking complete refuge of Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita, of Lord Hari, the spiritual master, the devotees, and the Shastra. When you guide your life by the truth. I once wrote that article, surrender is not a bad word, because it's Sharanagati. You are going for refuge. And where should we take refuge? We should take refuge in the truth, because when we go against the truth, we suffer. Like just example, a fish in water. If it goes against the truth that it's aquatic, or if it could go against the truth that it's aquatic, there would be suffering. Suffering, as Ayurvedic, I explained it many times, describes as a crime against nature. So we get to see it and hear it and get really fixed up in our consciousness that we want it. What else can we want? But that's what we want now. What are we seeking more? If we look at any of us, what are we seeking more? We're seeking good relationships, whether it's romantic or whether it's friendship or whether it's parental. And when we don't have good relationships, that screws us up. That makes us sad. It creates traumas, whatever. So really what the spiritual world is it's the world of good, perfect relationships. And it's harmonious because it has a center, and the center is God, the center is Krishna. So there's these good relationships. And where people are thinking of others before themselves, and that's the first principle of good relationships. That's the principle of love, service, harmony, rather than what we normally experience, the narcissistic tendency where people see the world, not in terms of others, but in terms of their own desires. And therefore, when you look at the world in terms of your own desires, then everyone else becomes a competitor or a threat, as opposed to a devotee who's Dira Janapriyo Piyakaro Namatsuro Pujita. People like them because they're not a threat. Of course, there is one thing that's a threat. If you want to be the enjoyer and controller, what's a threat is the truth, which says the opposite. Therefore, to hear the Shastra properly, we have to be nivitataisher upagiyamanas. We have to be without that thirst for this world, which makes us not want to hear about reality, which is not about us. I remember I was counseling one person, a brahmachari, entering into the grahastha ashram, and then, his realization, what he learned, the world is not just about me. And that's the beginning of spiritual life. And every problem in the world is caused by the exact opposite consciousness. The world is about me. Whether it's in a family relationship, whether it's a person who's heading a government, whether it's love, there's no love in that. There's no service in that. So therefore, we've been doing this a couple of years now, and it's very beautiful. Now, in this particular section, Lord Chaitanya meets his sannyas guru and asks him, which is greater, jnana bhakti. And his guru tells him, this is his sannyas guru, it's still guru, he has some loyalty, some affinity, and he tells him that Mahajana Yenaka Swapanta. What is the path of the Mahajans? If you want to know what the proper thing is, see what the great souls are doing. That's one of the key points of bhakti. That's why we want to associate with advanced devotees. Shushushro Shadadhanasya Vasudeva Kata Rachi Sahat Mahat Sevana Vipra Punyatir. It's wonderful to serve the great devotees, because then we get an affinity, we get a liking for God, because we see what they're doing and it's so attractive. It's so attractive. And we want to see what they're doing. And by understanding what they're doing, we can also understand very clearly what the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is, because it's embodied not only in their words, but their realization of how they've applied it to their own personal life. So it's a very, very powerful thing. So his guru says, Mahajana Yena Sapanta. Look at all the Mahajans and what they do. They sacrifice everything for bhakti. Everything. They have no other care but devotional service. Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam, Va, Jagadisha, Kamaye, Mama Janmani, Janmaneshwari, Bhavatad Bhakti or Hoitaki Twai. They don't care for everything. They don't even care for liberation. Narayana Prasarve, Nakutas Chanya Vibhyati, Swaga Pavagana, Api Tulyata Darshana. They only care for service, not even liberation. So he heard this, and that made him very, very happy. He heard his guru spoke about it extensively. Prabhu bali. So what did the Lord declare? Ami kata dina pritiviti. Takilana e shatya kohila tomate. The Lord declared, I will stay for some time in this world. I'm telling you the truth. So this inspires me to have conviction in what I am doing. And it's what I have faith in, and you've increased that faith. And faith is the mechanism by which we move. We move in the direction that we trust leads to auspiciousness. So this gives me so much, I'm moving in that direction, but this gives me so much more faith in that direction. We all need faith if we're not moving in the right direction. We're not moving fast enough in the right direction. That's why it's very nice. I'm happy I see. This is my, Wednesday is separates, I don't know how to say it. The old misogynist state, no, not misogynist, separates the men from the boys, a little misogynist, separates the men from the boys. I see the students here, they're listening, and it's faith. When you get faith, you can move. Look what Prabhupada did with faith. Do you think if his faith wasn't strong, he couldn't have crossed the ocean on a boat? You think if his faith wasn't strong, it was his faith, his conviction, his realization. And that comes from hearing, especially hearing from the Vaishnavas, hearing from Guru. So he says, I'll tell you, I'll stay some more time. I'll continue what I'm doing, because yadi tume jnana bhari te amare pravishitama aji tabe samudra bhitare. If you would have told me that Gyan was greater, I would have entered the ocean today. So he's saying, if your guru told me that this is not the right thing to do, I don't know what I would do. I'm in this world only for establishing devotional service. And if you don't give it primary importance, then what is the purpose of this world? We have to come to the point that that's our only purpose in the world, is to serve Guru and Krishna with that strong faith. Santoshi Dharena Prabhu Gururu Charane Guru O Prabhure Namaskare Pritamane. In satisfaction, the Lord caught hold of the feet of his Guru, and his Guru affectionately offered his obeisances to the Lord. So if you're a disciple, if you're a Guru, you have a real problem if your disciple is God. Because you just can't accept obeisances. So Keśava Bhāratī Maharaj knows, he knows it's come out before, he knows his exalted position. So he accepts the obeisances, but he pays them back. And Santosh, Santosh means contentment. That's the key to happiness. The key to happiness is enough. All of you, enough. You have enough. That's it. I have to come to that point. I'm really practicing. This is my 72nd year on this world, and I have to practice enough. Whatever God wants. So satisfaction, and then gratitude. He grabbed hold of his Guru's feet. I know I was in Dallas, Texas. I've told this before, and I had one godbrother. True to Texas, he was about 6'5", and he stood up and said, "How can we repay you, Prabhupada?" And Prabhupada said, "Just remain obliged." And boy, his name is Ganagamya. Did he remain obliged? So dedicated to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. I was there in Vrindavan, in Mayapur. He passed away. Prabhu bali. Yare mukhe nahi bhakti katatapa. Shika shukta tyaga tare sabe. The Lord said, for anyone who does not discuss devotional service to the Supreme Lord, giving up the shika and Brahmin thread and engaging in austerity or uselessness. So traditionally, sannyas was one of the ashrams in Varnashram, but it really was beyond Varnashram. It was transcending all caste, just giving up anything external. Real sannyas means die to live. Die means you destroy what actually can be destroyed, which is not the self. You destroy the false ego, the conception I'm the enduring controller. And how do you do that? By fully surrendering to God's will, consciously in everything. Imagine if we did that. It'd be hard because we'd have to give up things that we like. We have to accept things that we don't like. If we actually threw our hands in the air and said, from this day, I am yours, what would that mean? And to be happy about it. The main instruction that Prabhupada gave to Satsvarup Maharaj when he took sannyas was to be jolly in your renunciation. But really, to to give death to that which actually can die, which is the material conception, and be left with that which is eternal, which is the spiritual conception. So the real sannyasi, he would die while he's living. He would give up everything. I'm thinking about this late. I am a sannyasi, but I'm thinking of bringing it to the next level. I got too many things. Thinking of just keeping all my possessions in just one bag. Really, I'm thinking. And then just wander from place to place. Except when I'm in Govardhan, where I'll have a bhajan kutir. And so giving up the Sikha and the Brahmin thread there, because it's beyond that. The Brahmin thread is a designation of an occupational position in Varna ashram, still based on the bodily platform of life. And then sannyas, no, I'm finished with this. So I give that up. And the Sikha gives it up. And just performing austerities. Tapo divyam yena kaputta sattvam shuddye yasmad brahma-sukhe tunantam. Divine austerity. We perform divine austerity. We give up that which has no value to devotion. Tapo divyam yena kaputta sattvam shuddye yasmad brahma-sukhe. And that leads to unlimited austerity, because unlimited happiness, because happiness is the platform of the soul. That is where happiness lives. I was just reading this verse from Priti Sundarbha, that the soul is consciousness in bliss. It's consciousness in bliss, but it's just like ice is liquid, but it's in a form where you can't access that liquid. But the liquid, the liquid is there. It just needs the right conditions to manifest. Or another thing, if you have water in the tropics, ice is there, but you don't have the conditions for it to manifest. So we have happiness, we're consciousness, we're bliss. We just don't have the conditions. And what's covering it is this false conception of accepting the body as the self. So he says to rid ourselves, to take this vow of renunciation, but not with the conception of the soul, then the liberation is not complete. Liberation is described in the Bhagavatam as muktir hitva yata rupam surupena vivastita. Surupena vivastita. Surupena, situated in Swarup, our own identity. Bhakti vina prabhuda jigasa nahi ar bhakti rasa maya shri Caitanya avatar. The Lord did not discuss anything besides devotional service, because Lord Chaitanya was the incarnation of the mellows of devotional service, because he was bhakti rasa maya moya. Sri Chaitanya avatar. He was the avatar of love of Godhead. He came with that in his heart. He came to give that. So he didn't discuss anything else. And he can't live. That is his food. For the devotee, our food, our nourishment, our sustenance is Krishna-katha. That's our food. That's our food. Machita, matkata, prana, bodhiyantas parasparam, machita. It's our heart. Machita, matkata. It's our direction, our goal. Machita, matkata, prana. It's our life. It's our food. What is it? Bodhiyant, machita, matkata, prana, bodhiyantas parasparam. This exchange, this devotion, Shrinvita, Swa, Kata, Krishna, Punya, Shravana, Kirtana, Hidyantasto, Yabadvani, Vidanoti, Sarit Satam. Sarit Satam. God helps us when this activity, it's nourishing. It's not only nourishing, but God becomes pleased and he purifies our hearts when he sees that we're engaged in this. Rachi dina ekana janena bhakti gana. Sarvada karena nitya kirtana garjana. Forgetting whether it was day or night, the devotees constantly engage in loud chanting and dancing. Not just rituals. They only have meaning when there's chanting and dancing. That's why when Prabhupada opened the Krishna Balaram Mandir to give it some authority, he brought in the Vedic, the Brahmanas, the Vaishnava Brahmanas to chant mantra. He said the real thing is the kirtan. Krishna Varnam Tvasha Krishnam Sango Pangasta Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasa. That's the real thing. For those who are Sumedasa, those who are intelligent. The real thing is this kirtan. So that ends that story. And now there's another story which we can begin. Ekadina Advaita Sakala Bhakti Prati Balila Paramanande Matohoy Ati. One day when Advaita Prabhu was intoxicated with ecstasy, he spoke to all the devotees. Bhakti Prata Sakala. One day. So your emotions come out through your words. And sometimes when there are strong emotions, they have to be expressed. It's just the nature of emotion. It's very powerful. When you have powerful emotions, they have to be expressed. That's why kirtan is the main symptom of devotion. Have to be expressed. So Advaita, he spoke to all the devotees. Suna Bhai Shaba, so he's speaking, all my dear brothers. Eka Kari Samvaya. Let us get together. Mukha Bhari Ghai Aji Sri Chaitanya Rai. Let us get together and Mukha Bhari Ghai. Let's sing. Let's glorify Sri Chaitanya. What a nice mood. What a nice conviction. And I wish I had that conviction. Achi Arakona Avatara Gayo Nai Sabavatara Maya Chaitanya Gosai. Today we will not glorify any incarnation other than Lord Chaitanya, who is the source of all other incarnations. Ye Prabhu Karila Sarva Jagata Udhar Ama Shabalagi Ye Goranga Avatar. The Lord is the deliverer of the entire universe. And he is incarnated as Gauranga for our benefit. And who knows that more than Advaita Acharya, whose worship of the Ganga with Tulsi and Ganga water itself, his heartfelt calls for Lord Chaitanya to appear. So he knows this is realization. Sabatra Amarayana Prashade Pujita Sankirtan Hena Ye Kaila Vidata. Because of him, we are worshipped everywhere. It is he who introduced the wealth of Sankirtan. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. We know from the first verse of the Shikshastakam. Cheto Dharpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakaraiva Chantikaranam Vidyuvadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Panam Ritasvardhanam Sarvatma Snapanam. Our whole soul bathed in the holy name. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is the Param Vijayate. This is the most glorious thing. This is the most glorious thing. So, and who's introduced it? So let's glorify the person who's introduced this. Ajanu Lambito Bujao Kanikavitaro Sankirtanaika Pitaro. He's the father of Sankirtan. Nachi Ame Tomara Chaitanya Yashagai Singha Hoy Gaye Pache Mani Bhaya Hoy. I will dance while you all sing the glories of Chaitanya. For if I sing as loud as a lion, you will all be frightened. I guess he had a powerful voice. He said, you sing, I will dance. But whether there's singing or dancing, it's an expression of the same thing, which is the prema, the love in the heart, which is such a powerful force. And that force is, it's from the heart, but it takes the form of singing and dancing. And when it takes this form of singing and dancing, then one is living in the ocean. One is living in the ocean of that devotion. Prabhu say, apana lukayena nirantara kruda pachi hayena sabara edara. The Lord generally concealed himself, so they were afraid that he might become angry. Well, he's called Chana Avatar. He is the hidden avatar, Lord Chaitanya. So, of course, we know the story of Lord Chaitanya. It's God to actually be God, to be full in himself, to be the supreme enjoyer, must experience the highest pleasure by getting the mood of his topmost devotee, Sri Radha, at the height of her devotion. Must get that at the height of her devotion. And therefore, in that mood, he doesn't want to be worshipped as God, because he's not coming to relish that. He's not coming to relish love as the object of love of the beloved. He's coming to worship love as the subject of love or the lover. So he doesn't want to be in that mood, and therefore he hides it. He doesn't want worship. And that should be actually the mood of any Vaishnava. They may have to take a position, they may have to accept worship, but only as a service, only in the mood as a service to their spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya would sometimes manifest as God, but mostly he was manifest as a devotee. So he generally concealed himself, and they were afraid if they now glorified him as God, he would become angry. Tatapi idvaita vakya alanga sabara garjite lāgilā Sri Chaitanya avatar. Still, Advaita's instructions could not be disregarded. Therefore, the devotees began singing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. So the devotees were a little bit afraid to do this, but Advaita is the Acharya. So they didn't want to defy his order. Nachena Advaita Singha Paramavivala Chaturdike Gaya Shabi Chaitanya Mangala. The lion-like Advaita danced and became overwhelmed in ecstasy as the devotees all around him sang the auspicious glories of Sri Chaitanya. All the devotees became stunned with ecstasy as they heard the chanting of the name and glories of the Lord's most recent incarnation. Nitai, 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 Chaitanya. Nitai, 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 Chaitanya. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. So they were in ecstasy, chanting the name of the most recent incarnation, which is Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Narayan Karuna Sagara Duki Tera Bandhu Prabhu Mora Dayakara. O Lord Chaitanya, you are Lord Narayan himself. You are an ocean of mercy, and you are the friend of the distressed. Please be merciful on me. By chanting this verse, which issued from the mouth of Advaita Simha, all one's opulences are increased. Okay, let's do that one again. You can repeat it in your minds. You want all your opulences increase. Or with a muted phone. Sri Chaitanya, Narayana, Karuna, Sagara, Duki Tera, Bandhu, Prabhu, Mora, Doya, Kara. O Lord Chaitanya, you are Lord Narayan himself. You're an ocean of mercy. You are the friend of the distressed. Please be merciful on me. Keha Bali, Jaya Jaya Sri Sachinandana. Keha Bali, Jaya Gora Chandranarayan. Jaya Jaya Sri Jaya Jaya Sri Sachinandana. Jaya Gora Chandra Narayana. Jaya Jaya Sri Sachinandana. Jaya Gora Chandra Narayana. Some devotees chanted Jai Sachinandana, others chanted Jai Gaurachandra Narayan. Jai Sankirtan Priya Sri Gaura Gopal, Jai Bhakti Jana Priya Pasandira Kala. All glories to Sri Gaur Gopal, who is the fond of Sankirtan. All glories to the Lord, who is dear to the devotees, and is death personified for the atheists. Jaya Sankirtan Priya Sri Gaura Gopal. Jai Sankirtan Priya Jai Gaura Gopal Sri Gaura Gopal. Jai Sankirtan Priya Sri Gaura Gopal. Jai Bhakti Jana Priya Pasandira Kala. Advaita Sima danced with great enthusiasm as the devotees sang the name, qualities, and pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Pulake charita goya, sukha gada gadiyoya, ekare Caitanya-bhāgavata Dekere Caitanya-bhāgavata Vaikuntanayaka Hari Dvija Rupa Avatari Sankirtane Kare Bihar Sankirtane Karena Bihar. Just behold the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya, who sings his own glories, whose hairs stand on end, and who rolls on the ground in ecstasy. Lord Hari, the hero of Vaikuntha, has incarnated in the form of a Brahmin to enjoy pastimes of Sankirtan. Kana Kajaniya Kanti Sri Vigarahano Shobasti Ati Ajanu Lambita Puja Sagere Ajanu Lambita Puja Sagere Yasivara Rupadara Apana Rase Bivala Na jani kamena sukha na chere. Na jani kamena sukhe na chere. His complexion is like gold. His hands extend to his knees, and his form is most attractive. He has accepted the form of a sannyasi, and he becomes overwhelmed in his own ecstatic mood. I cannot describe how jubilantly he dances. This song, next one, is composed by Advaita himself. Jaya Sri Gora Sunda Karuna Sindhu, Jaya Jaya Brindavan, Raya Jaya Jaya, Samprita Jaya Navadvipa Puranda, Charana Kamala Dehe Jai. All glories to Sri Gaurasunda, the ocean of mercy. All glories to the Lord of Vrindavan. All glories to the recently invented Lord of Navadvip. Please give me shelter at your lotus feet. As all the devotees chanted, Advaita Prabhu danced and meditated on the lotus feet of Gauranga. Hearing the new verses, glorifying the most recent incarnation, all the Vaishnavas chanted the names Hari in great joy. The bliss of that kirtan was wonderful. Indeed, only Nityananda can describe it. Hearing the tumultuous sound of that kirtan, the best of the sannyasis came to that place. When the devotees saw the Lord, they sang with greater enthusiasm, and Advaita danced jubilantly. 1 second. Okay. Jamuna Jaya, what point?
Haribol Maharaj, thank you for class. I actually had a lot of points today, but I really loved when you said about let us kill what can be killed, and that's the false ego. And I think it's such juxtaposition of what we normally try to do. We're trying to keep the false ego alive, like with everything. And instead, that's the thing we should be killed, because what we really are, we can't kill. So that was just a really, I love that point a lot.
I am writing on that in my Monday morning greetings. I guess that's why it came out. That's nice, Jamuna Jaya. Thank you. That's
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gumaraj. Tota Gopinath here. Great to hear from you.
Thanks, Tota. Haribo. Anybody else? Just say hello.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Gail, any questions?
No, I think we're doing pretty well these days.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in one place now. I'm going to be in New Jersey. I was going to go to Connecticut, but Varsana Lali's son got sick. So I'm kind of hunkered in New Jersey, and it kind of gives me a COVID bhav, where you're just in one place. So then your sadhana increases. And then I got the inspiration. We'll do Krishna Janma Leela. I'll read through from the beginning. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Namaste here. Thank you for the wonderful class.
Nice to see you're back on. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thanks for the class.
It's not working. Is that Yabit Sundari and Surya Radhika? Yeah, it's somehow not working. I can't see you.
Cannot see us.
You have to unmute. I can't hear you. Anybody else? There you are. I can see you. Now I can see you.
I think it has a little bit of delay, Maharaj.
What?
Maybe it has a little bit of delay.
Oh, I can't hear you that well, but is that your house or that's in Tehran?
Yes. No.
What?
In Kish, Maharaj.
What?
It's in Kish, Maharaj.
That's your house in Keys?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. A different place than your temple room.
Yes. We're downstairs.
Okay.
We had earthquake today a lot.
You have what?
15 earthquake.
In Keys?
Yes, Maharaj. So we came down the stairs.
Oh, so you shifted where you are because of the earthquakes.
Yes, Maharaj. And today I felt like death is so near. It can be so near. And I realized that my faith isn't so it's not firmed yet. And when you said that Prabhupada was fearless and he had so much faith and conviction, I was like, oh my God, I should have more faith. But the first thing I did when the earthquake came was to take my bead bag, and that was the only thing I had to take shelter.
Was your house shaking?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Anything fall off the walls?
Yes.
Really? Wow. There was ever earthquakes there before?
Yeah, there were. Yeah.
There were.
Many years ago.
Padam vipadam nateshat. At this material world, there's danger at every step. Ye samsrita padapalam. I'm reading that this morning. We just have to take shelter of Krishna. It's just, there's no other way. There's just no other way, no other way. Harinama, 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 eva kevalam, kalo, nasteva, gatiranya. It just never ends. It just never ends. That's all. We all have to take sannyas. But the real sannyas. It didn't get so bad though. Minor trembles. Nobody's hurt in the.
Yeah,
okay.
it was just the fear is there.
What?
But the fear is there.
Well, yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Bob.
Hare Krishna Garage, Sal Govinda.
Prasha, thank
Thank you for class.
Any earthquakes in Bradley Beach? No.
Jesus.
What? Yeah.
We're praying for your Radhika and her mother. It's
That's
15.
your friend. That's your roommate. Right. Well, you just got to give up fighting the material energy.
Well, yeah, because if there's not earthquakes, there's flooding, you know? We get flooding over here.
And if it's not earthquakes and flooding, it's just New Jersey. I love New Jersey, though. I think Krishna's kicking me out of New Jersey. Daivieshi gunamayi mama maya dharatya mameviye papadyante maya metam. Can only overcome it by surrender. That's it. That's it. Okay. All right.
All right, well.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for class.
Isabel, Hare Krishna. Great. Nice to see you at the Rath Yatra.
It's great to see you.
That's not your backyard, is it? No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. You have a backyard. That's nice. Good.
For the first time in 50-something years. Yeah.
Okay. Haribo, good.
Haribo.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for class.
Oh, Shana. The best I can do. Okay. Yeah, you know, today I looked at the travel advisory to Russia from the US government. You know, they just don't recommend travel to Russia. I'm very eager to kind of visit. But I read it, it just says, it's anyway, they don't recommend American citizens.
Yes, and are you going to be in India and Kartika?
I will. Will you be in India and Kartika?
I'm planning.
You don't want to come to my Puri Yatra? That's really nice. That's at the end of January, my Puri Yatra.
In Vrindavan, you mean? In Jagannath Puri?
Jagannath Puri, I'll have a yatra at the end of January. And then I'm thinking of then doing a little Govardhan one right after that, like we had the last time. Maybe you can come both times.
Maybe.
I'll try.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Anyway, if you're in Vrindavan, definitely come out to Govardhan to visit me. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Good to see you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. A few more minutes. Anybody else? Okay. I see the full list of people there. So thank you all for coming on. And let's see how we can do now with the Janma Lila, the birth of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha